All right, welcome to day 70 of our Read Through the Bible for 2019. We are a couple days away from being one-fifth of our way through. We're in Joshua chapters 15, 16, and 17 tonight. Joshua chapter 15. The allotment for the tribe of the people of Judah, according to their clans, reached southward to the boundary of Edom, to the wilderness of Zin at the farthest south. And their south boundary ran from the end of the Salt Sea, from the bay that faces southward. It goes out southward of the ascent of Akrabim, passes along the Zin to Zin, and goes up south of Kadesh Barnea, along by Hezron, up to Adar, turns about to Karka, passes along to Amzon, goes out by the brook of Egypt, and comes to its end at the sea. By the way, if you happen to get a Old Testament survey book or any decent commentaries, likely to have a map or the back of your Bible. This will all make a little better sense. You'll have an idea in your mind of what they're talking about. This shall be your south boundary. And the east boundary is the Salt Sea to the mouth of the Jordan, and the boundary on the north side runs from the bay of the sea at the mouth of the Jordan. And the boundary goes up to Beth Hogla and passes along north of Beth Araba, and the boundary goes up to the stone of Bohan, the son of Reuben. And the boundary goes up to Debir from the valley of Achor, and so northward, turning toward Gilgal, which is opposite the ascent of Adamim, which is on the south side of the valley. And the boundary passes along to the waters of En-Shemesh and ends at En-Rogel. Then the boundary goes up by the valley of the son of Hinnom at the southern shoulder of the Jebusite, that is, Jerusalem. And the boundary goes up to the top of the mountain that lies over against the valley of Hinnom on the west, at the northern end of the valley of Rephaim. Then the boundary extends from the top of the mountain to the spring of the waters of Nephtoah, and from there to the cities of Mount Ephron. Then the boundary bends around to Bela, that is, Kiriath Jearim. And the boundary circles west of Bela to Mount Seir, passes along to the northern shoulder of Mount Jearim, that is, Chesalon, and goes down to Beth Shemesh and passes along by Timnah. The boundary goes out to the shoulder on the hill north of Ekron. Then the boundary bends around to Shikron and passes along to Mount Bela and goes out to Jabneel. Then the boundary comes to an end at the sea, and the west boundary was the great sea with its coastline. This is the boundary around the people of Judah according to their clans. According to the commandment of the Lord to Joshua, he gave to Caleb the son of Jephunneh a portion among the people of Judah, Kiriath Arba, that is, Hebron. Arba was the father of Anak. And Caleb drove out from there the three sons of Anak, Sheshai, Ahiman, and Talmai, the descendants of Anak. And he went up from there against the inhabitants of Debir. Now the name of Debir was formerly Kiriath Sepher. And Caleb said, whoever strikes Kiriath Sepher and captures it, to him I will give Acsah, my daughter, as wife. And Othniel, the son of Kenaz, the brother of Caleb, captured it. And he gave him Acsah, his daughter, as wife. And when she came to him, she urged him to ask her father for a field. And she got off her donkey. And Caleb said to her, what do you want? She said to him, give me a blessing, that you have given me the land of the Negev. Give me also springs of water. And he gave her the upper springs and the lower springs. This is the inheritance of the tribe of the people of Judah according to their clans. The cities belonging to the tribe of the people of Judah in the extreme south toward the boundary of Edom were Casbeel, Eder, Jager, Kaina, Dimona, Adada, Kadesh, Hazor, Ithnan, Ziph, Telem, Baalath, Hazor, Hadatha, Kiriath Hezron, that is Hazor, Amam, Shema, Moladah, Hazar Gada, Heshmon, Beth Pelet, Hazar Shual, Beersheba, Biziothia, Bela, Lim, Ezem, Eltalad, Chesil, Hormah, Ziklag, Madmanna, Sansana, Lebaoth, Shilhim, Ain, and Rimnon, in all 29 cities with their villages. And in the lowland, Eshtaol, Zorah, Ashna, Zanoah, En Ganim, Tapua, Enam, Zarmuth, Adullam, Soko, Azekah, Sharaim, Dithayim, Gederothaim, 14 cities and their villages, Zenon, Hadasha, Migdalgad, Dilion, Mizpah, Joktheel, Lachish, Bozkath, Eglon, Kabon, Lamam, Chitlish, Gederoth, Beth Dagon, Naamah, and Makkedah, 16 cities with their villages, Libnah, Ether, Ashnan, Iptha, Ashna, Nezib, Keilah, Aksib, and Mareshah, 9 cities with their villages, Ekron with its towns and its villages from Ekron to the sea, all that were by the side of Ashdod, with their villages, Ashdod, its towns and its villages, Gaza, its town and its villages to the brook of Egypt, and the great sea with its coastline. And in the hill country, Shamir, Jatir, Soko, Dana, Kiriath Sanah, that is Debir, Anab, Eshtemo, Anim, Goshen, Holon, and Gilo, 11 cities with their villages, Arab, Duma, Ishan, Janim, Beth-Tupah, Aphakah, Humta, Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, and Zior, 9 cities with their villages, Maon, Carmel, Ziph, Zuta, Jezreel, Joktiam, Zanoah, Cain, Gibeah, and Timnah, 10 cities with their villages, Halhu, Bethsur, Gedor, Marath, Beth-Anath, El-Takan, 6 cities in their villages, Kiriath Baal, that is Kiriath Jearim, and Rabbah, 2 cities with their villages in the wilderness, Beth Arabah, Midian, Sekaka, Nibshan, the city of Salt, and En-Gedi, 6 cities with their villages. We know what happened at En-Gedi. The caves at En-Gedi is where the Dead Sea Scrolls were found. But the Jebusites, the inhabitants of Jerusalem, the people of Judah could not drive out. All right, so the Jebusites dwell with the people of Judah at Jerusalem to this day. So up to this point, you see it's, remember, the Bible takes place in real time and in real places. There's a boatload of detail here. We see that the allotment of Judah was substantial. It covers a large area, described number of cities, but for whatever reason, they were unable at that point to drive the Jebusites out of Jerusalem. Joshua 16. The allotment of the people of Joseph went from the Jordan by Jericho, east of the waters of Jericho, into the wilderness, going up from Jericho into the hill country of Bethel. Then going from Bethel to Luz, it passes along Ataroth, the territory of the Archites. Then it goes down westward to the territory of the Japhletites, as far as the territory of lower Beth Horon, then to Gezer, and it ends at the sea. The people of Joseph, Manasseh, and Ephraim received their inheritance. The territory of the people of Ephraim by their clans was as follows. The boundary of their inheritance on the east was Ataroth Adar, as far as upper Beth Horon. Excuse me. And the boundary there goes from there to the sea. On the north is Mikmathah. Then on the east boundary turns around toward Tanath Shiloh and passes along beyond it to the east of Genoa. Then it goes down from Genoa to Ataroth, then to Nerah, and touches Jericho, ending at the Jordan. From Tappuah to the boundary goes westward to the brook of Kana and ends at the sea. Such is the inheritance of the tribe of the people of Ephraim by their clans, together with the towns that were set apart for the people of Ephraim, with the inheritance of the Manassites, all these towns with their villages. However, they did not drive out the Canaanites who lived in Gezer. So the Canaanites have lived in the midst of Ephraim to this day, but have been made to do forced labor. So we've got the Jebusites and the Canaanites so far in 15 and 16, not driven out. Joshua chapter 17. The allotment was made to the people of Manasseh, for he was the firstborn of Joseph. Then allotment was made to the people of Manasseh, for he was the firstborn of Joseph. To Machir, the firstborn of Manasseh, the father of Gilead, were allotted Gilead and Bashan, because he was a man of war. And allotments were made to the rest of the people of Manasseh by their clans: Abiezer, Helek, Asriel, Shechem, Hephir, and Shemitah. These were the male descendants of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, by their clans. Now to Zelophehad, the son of Hephir, son of Gilead, son of Machir, son of Manasseh, he had no sons, but only daughters. And these are the names of the daughters: Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. They approached Eleazar, the priest, and Joshua, the son of Nun, and the leaders, and said, "The Lord commanded Moses to give us an inheritance along with our brothers. So, according to the mouth of the Lord, he gave them an inheritance among their brothers, the brothers of their father. Thus, there fell to Manasseh 10 portions beside the land of Gilead and Bashan, which is on the other side of the Jordan, because the daughters of Manasseh received an inheritance along with his sons. The land of Gilead was allotted to the rest of the people of Manasseh. The territory of Manasseh reached from Asher to Mikmathath, which is east of Shechem. And then the boundary goes along southward to the inhabitants of En Tappuah. The land of Tappuah belonged to Manasseh, but the town of Tappuah on the boundary of Manasseh belonged to the people of Ephraim. Then the boundary went down to the brook Kanah. These cities to the south of the brook among the cities of Manasseh belonged to Ephraim. Then the boundary of Manasseh goes on the north side of the brook and ends at the sea, and the land to the south being Ephraim's, and that to the north being Manasseh's, with the sea forming its boundary. On the north, Asher is reached, and on the east, Issachar. Also in Issachar and in Asher, Manasseh had Beth Shean and its villages, and Ibleam and its villages, and the inhabitants of Dor and its villages, and the inhabitants of Endor and its villages. We see Endor later because there's a woman who is, we would call her a witch and a sorcerer, which is where we get the name for Endora from Bewitched. The inhabitants of Endor and its villages, and the inhabitants of Tanakh and its villages, and the inhabitants of Megiddo and its villages. The third is Naphath. Yet the people of Manasseh could not take possession of those cities, but the Canaanites persisted in dwelling in that land. Now when the people of Israel grew strong, they put the Canaanites to forced labor, but did not utterly drive them out. So they had the ability to, they didn't do it. Then the people of Joseph spoke to Joshua, saying, "Why have you given me but one lot and one portion as an inheritance, although I am a numerous people, since all along the Lord has blessed me?" And Joshua said to them, "If you are a numerous people, go up by yourselves to the forest, and there clear ground for yourselves in the land of the Perizzites and the Rephaim, since the hill country of Ephraim is too narrow for you." The people of Joseph said, "The hill country is not enough for us. Yet all the Canaanites who dwell in the plain have chariots of iron, both those in Beth Shean and its villages, and those in the valley of Jezreel." And Joshua said to the house of Joseph, to Ephraim and Manasseh, "You are a numerous people and have great power. You shall not have one allotment only, but the hill country shall be yours. For though it is a forest, you shall clear it and possess it to its farthest borders. For you shall drive out the Canaanites, though they have chariots of iron, and though they are strong." All right, that does day 70. Pick up day 71 tomorrow with Joshua chapter 18.